All right, welcome. Good morning. It's good to be here again, and I'm so excited to be here. It's Thank God It's Friday. My name is Rose Blossom, and you're watching Women's Corner. Today, we're talking about assertiveness and, of course, boundary setting when it comes to women. Because I think sometimes it's a bit difficult for a woman to be assertive, to always say yes, and to know when her no is no. And, of course, when setting boundaries, some people will start tagging you, she's too disciplined, she's too uptight. So we have women from all walks of life coming to talk about it, professionals, experts in their field coming to discuss about this. But of course, before I introduce my Zoom guest for you today, let's go on a short break, and when I come back, we'll start the discussion. Stay with us. Right, welcome back. Yes, before I get cracking, I want you to know that this program runs through Monday to Friday, and of course from 11 a.m. to 12 noon every day. And you can actually watch us live. It's streaming on Facebook and on Twitter, so you can join us. And of course, we have our Google app, and yes, we have a Google app and our Play Store app, which you can actually download from Google Play Store and Apple Play Store, which is type in Galaxy Television, and of course you will see Galaxy. Just download the app and watch all of our live programs, and you don't want to miss this one, especially for women, because this is for you. Everything that has to do with women, we'll talk about life experiences, just normal discussions, but we like to keep it real. We like to keep it simple and very real. We don't look for go come, let's go and search the internet. No, we speak from experience. And of course, if you're so well enough vast in your discipline and you still want to share some experience from your own discipline, is very welcome. And of course, I have two amazing guests today. I have a Golo Mary Ozuronye. She's a health management consultant, a registered nurse, a public speaker, an actress, and she is the CEO Ronye Life Consult from Ogun State. She's joining us from Ogun State. Ronye, how you doing? Good morning.
I'm doing fine, thank you very much for asking.
Yes, it's good to have you. You look all smiles and beautiful. Thank you for joining in. And again, thank you. And again, I have Sarah Funmi Adebusi. She's an entrepreneur, a writer, a public speaker, and the founder of Limitless Army. It's good to have you, Sarah.
Good morning, Ma. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, I'm happy you are also here. So let's just start talking. First of all, let me just ask from my experience, what is that thing that you've been tagged or you've experienced when you tried setting boundaries for people or with people, even your relatives, because there has to be boundaries. When you try to keep your boundaries with your relatives, your colleagues, your friends, even your husband, even your kids, these boundaries are very important. But when you set these things, a lot of people tend to take it the wrong way. So I want you to share your experience and how you made them understand that you're not being too proud or you're not trying to push them away. You're just trying to respect your space. I'm going to start with you, Ronye, please.
All right. Thank you very much. What a very nice question. I've actually had that a lot of experiences when it comes to setting boundaries, because I am somebody that actually does that setting boundary thing a lot. So, and you mentioned one of it already when you were stating the question, and you mentioned the word proud. I have actually had experiences where people call me proud, you know, and you know that scenario when people don't just talk about you at your back, you know, they don't just talk about you behind you, and yet they still bring it to you, I mean to your face, and say to your face that, Ronye, you are this, Ronye, you are like this, you know. People will call you proud. People have called me proud. People have called me uptight. People have called me strict. People have called me too disciplined, you know, for so many reasons. I wouldn't want to go too much into details because of our time, but the fact is that a lot of times we will experience these things, and sometimes it actually weighs us down. I have had someone who was very close to me give me such a negative vibe because of a certain boundary that I set that involved him, and he was somebody I felt could have understood, but unfortunately he didn't, and it actually really messed up our relationship. And that is one of the experiences I had that made me feel bad myself, that okay, I had to sit down again and think about it, that okay, have I done too much, or have I done something wrong or something? But I am somebody that would never blame myself for anything. Instead of me sitting down to regret or blame myself for an action I've already taken, which I know I can't change or undo anymore, I rather just learn from that and move on with it immediately. I don't want to dwell on the past. I don't want to dwell on anything that has happened that I can't change anymore. So when I sit down, I think about it, and I look at the outcome of my actions, and I'm like, okay, fine, let's just move. It's fine. It's okay. It don't happen. It don't happen. Let's move on. So yes, and that has not stopped me from setting boundaries in every areas of my life. Anyway, I continue to set boundaries in my relationships, in friendship, in workplace, in my career, in family life, in even in every personal space of my life. I believe there should be a certain kind of boundary that we should be able to set, because if you don't, people will take you for granted. A lot of time I have had that, and I believe it has helped me so far.
Very much for that one, for sharing your experience. So I'm going to ask Sarah for me, please, can you share your own experience on where you actually had to set boundaries, or where maybe they know you are someone that always says yes, then unfortunately for them, I'm going to use that word, you end up saying no that day. How was the experience like, and how did you get to make people understand that this is just you? I might be saying no every time, and I decide to say yes doesn't change anything. Or you set a boundary with someone, just as Ronya said, and people take it the wrong way, not trying to respect your space. Share your experience, please.
Okay. Topic very interesting, because I grew up having a very low self-esteem. Was it I had to really work on, because used to the fact I was used to pleasing people just to feel loved or feel associated, to be among, and all of those stuff. So by the time I got to really get to that place of okay, this is me, I have to, by the time I got I became self-confident about myself. I knew what I wanted and what I didn't want. People reacted to it. They said, you're being arrogant, you're being proud, you're being whatever. But you know, it gets to a point whereby you just have to stand your ground, because if you don't know what you want, you don't know what you're living for, and you don't know where you are going, people will take you for granted, and they will always want to push you around. So you must be able to like set that boundaries, even with family. Because I remember recently, my son had an argument very recently, and she made a statement for that thing, and I just told her I am not coming, you know. And I know somewhere she might have felt offended, and I didn't care at that point, because I knew that if I didn't set this thing now, it will continue. You know, even to my husband, there are some things I would request for him, and I will tell him, babe, not now, I can't do this now, because I have this to do at the moment. You know, it really helped me to like build myself and be able to say no to people, because if we don't get to that point where we are able to like build those boundaries, people will be like, you don't even know what you are doing. People will take you for granted, just like Mama Maria said. They will just want to just push you around for whatever they want, and then when they are done using you, they just push you off aside again. And you know, I experienced that over and over and over, and I felt like, you know, this can't continue my life. I have to be able to set boundaries. People have to know you for what you really want, what you're doing, and they have to respect your own timing. They have to respect your time. They must understand that you have things to do. It's not, so if they are calling you to come and do something, they must also respect the fact that this lady is not just somebody that you can just call on to. At least you must inform her ahead of time and that kind of thing. So they are people that are now beginning to understand that, okay, let me inform her for this thing ahead of time. It's not that you just call me and just assume that I'm a those kind of things. So it was something that was very hard for me because of the way I grew up. I grew up having a very low, in fact, even till I was about 25, I was still struggling with like low self-esteem a lot based on my experiences and all of those things. So it was a very, 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 very hard process I had to go through for myself. But I am really enjoying it now because I do what I want to do when I want to do it and when necessary.
What you want to do it, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, and when necessary. That's a good one. Now I'm going to ask this question, still you, Sarah. Now you said something that you don't care if they're angry. Yes, I understand, because they have to respect the privacy, they have to respect that boundary. But do you think there are there are situations whereby people tend to overdo it? Is there a possibility that some ladies set too much boundaries, like it's too much, that sometimes even you as a fellow lady be like, what is it, this life is too simple to be this uptight? Now why I'm saying this is because I'm going to bring it back, I'm going to bring it down to the aspect of before marriage. A lot of people believe that ladies tend to set too much boundaries, too much I don't know, privacies to themselves, that you know, when it's their time to get married and settle down, you know, they tend to push away friends, push away potential suitors or husbands. In fact, some turn boyfriends to husband and their husband becomes their friend. Do you understand? Like a misplacement of priority. Now I want to ask, what are those things that you think is an example of what ladies set as boundaries that you feel, because we can't tell them what to do obviously, but you just feel that this is too much of a boundary setting? Just in like 2 minutes, share with us.
Comes to setting boundaries, especially as a young lady before getting married, I feel like what your boundaries should be centered around what you really want your life to be. You know, because look, I remember when I was dating a particular guy at one point, and when it comes to visit me, because I was staying alone. So when it comes to visit me, I realized that most of the time he wants to sleep over. You know, and as a single lady, when you're sleeping over in your house, there's this perspective of you are a prostitute and you are this, and I didn't want that perspective, because I knew I was somebody that teenagers look up to. I was somebody that I was preaching purpose, I was preaching self-discipline, you know. And so what of people living around me testify to what my life is, what I'm really living. That I usually fear that one thing of living something and people saying another side came over that particular, but that can't be just over. I said, guy, no, you can't sleep in my house. Yes, we might be in a relationship, I might be dating you at the moment. It's not that I don't know you, but bro, you have to go back to your house. So when it comes to setting boundaries for young ladies, I feel there's no boundaries that is too much, especially when it has to do with your self-respect. If you do not respect yourself, people will just treat you anyhow. And this is very, very important for single ladies, because when you don't respect yourself as a single lady, even the person you are dating will not respect you as much as if, and that would also lead to the friends that he has and all of those kind of things. So the perspective you give to whoever it is that is around you about yourself is what they will take. So that is why it's important that we build assertiveness and around ourselves. Those boundaries are very, very important. It teaches people how you should be treated.
I like that.
So it is very boundaries for yourself. Even you yourself, you set boundaries for yourself. This time is what I want to do, this time is what I want, this is what I want to do, and this is how I want to relate with this person. It is very important, because that spells out what and how this person is also going to treat you, or how these people are going to treat you. So it is very, very important that we set. And I don't think there's a boundary that is too much. If it's something that has to do with your peace of mind, boundaries for people has to do with something that does not have to steal your peace of mind. Whatever it is that you have to do for people, or that you have to do for people that begins to take away your peace, is too much.
Okay, I like that one. I'm going to ask Roye, if you're still there with us. This question is for you. So, what kind of boundaries? What are those? If I let me put it plain, what are those boundaries a woman should have or set when it comes to? Sarah have mentioned some for relationship. Now, I'm going to go to a place of work where you earn your living. Where your career is at. What kind of boundaries do you think women should set for themselves at their place of work? That would be, like she said, no matter how people think about it, it is your peace, it is your mental space. So everyone should respect that. If they are not cool with it, I think they should just be on their own, right? So what kind of boundaries do you think women should have when it comes to a work settings or career settings in a place like that?
Thank you very much. Yes, certain boundaries can actually make you look bad in the presence of your colleague, especially if you don't run your own business and you actually work somewhere and all of you have the same boss, and then you are trying to set boundary between yourself, the relationship between yourself and your work colleagues. It looks like, okay, is she the only one? Especially when you're a female. Yes, one of the boundaries you need to set, especially when you're working with the male gender, if the other gender are more of your work colleagues, then you really need to set a lot of boundaries. One of the reasons why I'm saying this, I'm not saying this because I have a problem with the other gender or anything, but I'm saying this because you are susceptible to be looked down on because of your gender. Yes, it's something I've experienced. I've always had that thing with being around the male gender all my life. Growing up, I'm an only daughter. Let me not say I was. I'm still an only daughter. So I'm an only daughter. I have only brothers. I don't have sisters. So growing up till now, I have more male friends. I work with more male colleagues. Even in the industry, I still have more, except in nursing, where I have a lot of females, because nursing is a profession dominated by females anyway. But I left the clinical area where we have more females. So I still end up rolling more with the male gender in so many areas of my life. And I've had to really set a lot of boundaries. Number one, some people would look down on you because you're a female. There are some tasks that they would want to exempt you from because they feel as a female you cannot thrive in it, because they feel as a female you cannot be able to deliver. And I have had to really set boundaries in that area of ensuring that you don't judge me because of my gender. So whatever everyone can do, can thrive in, test me with it too. Ensure that you also put me on that track too. So if eventually I'm not now able to deliver, then you should judge me by my abilities and not by my gender. So you have to set that boundary of ensuring that people don't judge you with your gender, especially in the workplace. So you have to be the one to put yourself in that position of ensuring that you prove that you can actually do this, you can deliver, you are capable in all ramifications, and people would respect you for that. Now, let me quickly share this scenario. I'm sure maybe you must have seen it play out before. It's not even in the workplace. It's on the road. There was a day I was in a friend's car, and my friend, a guy, was the one driving. I was seated beside him. And then there was another car that just drove, something rough in front of us. And he just screamed. He screamed in Yoruba, but I'm going to say it in English. He was like, what have you done? And he was telling me that must be a female, because it's only a female that can drive like that can make such a mistake. I felt really bad. I'm like, okay, really? So you mean it's only a female that can make mistakes, or you ascribe wrong driving to only the female gender? It was like, and by the time the person drove past us and went down, lo and behold, it was a man. And I'm like, really? Can you see? So it's not a female after all. So bringing it back to the workspace, you see that people tend to ascribe mistakes more to the female gender. People tend to ascribe not being able to deliver on task more to the female gender. People tend to ascribe less strength, less articulacy, less determination, and so many other things to the female gender in the workspace. And so when they are sharing tasks, when they are putting people in teams, when they are trying to bring up something challenging, they might want to actually exempt the female gender in that workspace, because it is just this normal belief that, okay, let's just leave her aside because she's a female. Doesn't mean that she can't do it. So that is one of the boundaries you need to set. You need to set a boundary of making sure that you put yourself in that position that make people believe in you, that no, this person can't do it, and people will stop judging you by your gender. And then also, setting boundaries in the workspace also depends on the kind of job you do. For instance, I have found myself today in a position of lecturing students, and I have these young people, I mentor them, I lecture them, and I have to set boundaries with them too. That is the kind of job I have to set boundary in the point whereby my student must take me for granted. You know, my patient must not take me for granted either. Even if I am taking care of them, there are a certain kind of boundary I have to set with my patient too, because patients should not come and talk to me anyhow. Even though I have to care for you, it is my responsibility to take care of you, but there are still some subtle boundaries you need to set. With your students as a teacher, there are some boundaries you need to set because they must not overstep their bounds. Among work colleagues, there are some boundaries you need to set. You have to be able to put up that attitude and that aura of the fact that you are in a work environment and you have to act formal. It's not as if you are being too uptight or being too rigid or being too overdoing things, but this is a formal setting. In this part of the country, I have noticed that we are it is very easy for us to bring in our culture into work. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. We are in the Southwest, and I have noticed that here in the Southwest, we are very used to bringing in culture to workplace, you know, so we tend to want to leave the workspace ethics and tend to bring in more of cultural values and everything, and people don't tend to see themselves as work colleagues and act that way, that okay, we are actually work colleagues. Now outside work, then you can then go back to practicing culture and kneeling down to greet each other or prostrating to greet. Do you understand? So but when you are in the workplace, what do? Oh, you address yourself as Mr., Miss, Mrs., or whatever it is, or if it is you are addressing yourself as your names, fine. And then you act like you are actually in the workplace, not bringing in culture into work. That's one thing I don't like to do. I don't like to bring in that over culture thing, you know, and all that into workplace. So let us act like we are actually in a formal work. We need to set in the workspace. I think I've actually said enough.
I must say. So since we've talked about workplace, we've talked about relationship and boundary setting, I want to ask Sarah, now when it comes to being a mother, being in a family, what are the kind of boundaries do you think we should set as a wife and as a mother? As a wife to your husband, what kind of boundaries do you think, in just 2 minutes, what kind of boundaries should you set with your husband? And of course, what kind of boundaries should you set with your children as a mother? There are two different things, and at the same time, while setting these boundaries, you don't make them feel awkward. You don't make them feel like I'm pushing you away, or you're being too, I don't know what it is. It's not coming to me, but whatever it is, what people believe it's what you're doing. You're just trying to make sure that everybody is in a respective and respectable places. So share your ideas in just 2 minutes, how we can set boundaries for both parties.
Okay, I'll go more on the husband side. Why? Because I'm still in the process to becoming a mother, you know, so I'll go more on the husband side. So one thing I had to do after getting married is the fact that we had and I realized that there are certain, so let me just put it straight. He had the expectations that a woman was supposed to do everything in the house. Meanwhile, that was not what we agreed to prior to we getting married, you know. So when I sensed that, I realized that okay, how do I set boundaries with this man without bruising his ego? You know? So I had to like come to that place of talking him down to, okay, when can you do this? I'm not going to do this. You need to be able to assist with this, because going forward, even when I become a mother, it will become overwhelming for me to do everything all by myself. So you need to be able to assist with certain things around the house. And then for my personal space too, I'm a writer, and sometimes it requires me to be on my own for hours most of the times, and just to be able to get my thoughts together and write the things I need to write. So we needed to come to that place of, when I'm in this particular space, at this point, when it comes to these things, you need to allow me be, because I will do them, maybe not at your own timing, but I will do them when I am free to do them, or when I am okay to do them. It doesn't have to be a force. We don't have to, argue about these things. We don't have to fight over these things. We all have our respective strengths, weaknesses and strengths. So we need to be able to come to this place of this is what I can do part time. This is what you should allow me do at this particular time. And this is when I'm in this space, in my creative space, you need to allow me be. I understand if you need my time, just give me some time for me to come to you. You can notify me, so I finish up early, so I can attend to whatever you want me to attend to. So they are just basically things that we needed to, talk about and find space for each other. Because even for him too, we needed to talk about it too, because he also needed, he's like, we have I'm an ambivert, and he's more of the introverted person. So he wants to be alone most of the time. And sometimes I just want to be all over you, So we needed to come to that place of, okay, at this point it's really busy. I get to understand that, okay, at this point it's really busy. I can't really go all out and go all over him at that point in time. And there are times whereby I'm also busy, and you need to just understand that, okay, please, you need to allow this person be also, for her to be able to, understand what she's doing at the moment. So we can't just go into each other's spaces and all of a sudden just boost into each other. Sometimes I do that a lot, and it gets angry with it that you can't just allow me be at this point in time, But at the same time, he also does it to me. And I feel like, no, bro, at this point, I cannot do this. Just leave me alone for now. It's just a thing that we just have to continue to, talk about often like that. So basically,
okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. I love that one. From all you said, I could deduce the fact that you said respecting your space is, if you're in your creative space, every woman should understand that the husband is in a creative space and maintain that lane. Same thing, the children sometimes just wants to be alone. You allow them. Sometimes you also want to be alone. I think the family or your spouse, your friends should understand that you want to be in that space. Stop encroaching into each other's space. That breeds more respect. Okay, now we've been talking about our experience from the other side of being assertive and from setting boundaries. Now I want to ask, let me start with you, Sarah. I want to ask Sarah, okay, based on the fact that you have been setting boundaries and people have been respecting it, and those who are not respecting it don't find it funny, and they try to just probably stay away from you, I want to ask you now, have you ever gotten used to somebody saying yes, 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 and that day the person says no? How did you feel? What was the thoughts that came to you? Because I want you to be the recipient now. You're the one encroaching now. So how did you feel? Or when you know that, me and this person used to play very well now. I can call the person midnight and we talk till morning. Why is the person not picking my call? And the person is telling me, whenever you want to call me, video call, make sure you inform me first ahead before calling me. Like, I don't know if you've been in any situation like that, but you are the receiving end now. How did you feel when people did that to you? I'm trying to come to a conclusion.
It was not funny. I felt bad. I think it happened now because my best friend had to get married earlier before me, and so I couldn't really communicate with her as much as I used to before. Things have to change between us, and so I need to hey, babe, Alpha, can I call you? And some of my friends too, at that point, I have to hello, what's up? Can I call? And they'll be like, no, not at the moment, that they are doing something. Sometimes I feel bad because I just really wanted to talk at that point, pour out myself. my mind because of what I'm going through at that point in time, you know. But sometimes I realize that you just have to, there are points whereby you have to allow people to just hold on. You know, you need
What
to
I want
hold
to
on
do.
to people to have things like that. You can't just be forced into their schedule just like that, just because you want to say something
Okay.
mind or anything.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to ask the same question to Roye. Roye, share your experience on the receiving end when you're so used to playing with somebody, and maybe, let me take for example, let's take Ashiwaju. Can we have Mary on the screen? Mary on the screen. I have to see her face when I'm asking this question. Yes, you're already smiling. So Mary, you know Ashiwaju is a playful person, is our own person. So imagine Ashiwaju coming to you one day, or you call him and like, please, whenever you have to call me, make sure you inform me. Or you know that playful attitude, you don't see it and you get it. I don't know if you had any experience. It might not be Ashiwaju, but I'm just saying, being on the receiving end. How does it feel like? What was the thing you had to do next to make sure that you know you don't spoil that friendship or the relationship you have with them?
All right, please leave Ashiwaju out of this conversation.
Okay.
So let's just pick the question on a general note.
On its own, yes.
All right, so
please
actually, I've been in that situation and I actually really felt that. So, and I think that actually gave me a feel of what people would feel when people that are very close to me would feel when I set some certain boundaries with them too. You know, I gave you an example when you asked me my first question about setting boundaries, and I gave you an example of the fact that I did it with a friend. You know, there was a certain boundary I had to set with a particular very close friend of mine back then, and I felt he should have understood, and I realized he didn't understand, and he took it so AWA, and that really messed up our friendship and everything. So now bringing it back to it being dumped to me, I had the feel of what that my friend then must have actually felt, must have gone through. We all are humans, and I am not perfect. Nobody is perfect. But one of the things I try to do, even in my bid to set boundaries, setting boundaries and being also strict and all that, even in that space of setting boundaries, one thing I try to do is to offend people less. Of course, there is no way you can live your life without offending people anyways. Everybody will not love you. You are not jollof rice. So I try to offend people less. And I also try not to do what I can't tolerate to people. What I mean is that what I would not have you do to me, what I won't tolerate from you, I would try my best not to serve it to you. Because I know if you serve me that same thing, I would not enjoy it. So I would try my best. But I keep using the word try because, like I said, I am not perfect. We all are not perfect in our dealings. But personally, I think I have a lot of imperfections. Sometimes I look at my behavior and I'm like, how do my friends even put up with me? But I'm the kind of person that once somebody understands me and we understand each other, we can actually really roll for a very long time. Look at Ashiwaju, for instance, the same Ashiwaju that you mentioned. Ashiwaju has been my friend for a while, but we've even gotten to that point where we don't even get to see each other often anymore. You know, everybody they're all busy in our own space. You know, Ashiwaju is really very, very busy right now, and I am busy too. So we get our hands dirty with so many things. But the fact is that we still maintain that friendship somehow, in the sense that if Ashiwaju and I should meet, if we just jam in one event like that now, if you see the way we hug each other and laugh and chat away our sorrow at that minute, you will think that we'll be seeing each other every day, you know. So that's every day. So even if there is a and we don't get to see each other often anymore, the understanding that has been existing between us in our friendship, yes, will continue and it will keep going like that. So sincerely, I felt bad when I was set that kind of, you know, boundary setting. I realized that do it to people sometimes too. So, Royen, snap out of it.
Take it right. Take it the way it comes. I like the part whereby we spoke as someone who, you know, on the receiving end as a woman, because we're here to protect ourselves and give ourselves the very best, and at the same time share the experience on when you are the other side of the coin. And from all I could deduce is that while you're setting boundaries, as much as possible, try to have peace with your boundaries. When you see, in fact, when you see that you setting boundaries is chasing a whole lot of people, I'm going to add this: your family, your friends, your loved ones, however they come, your colleagues, that boundary is keeping a whole lot of people away from you. I think you need to check that boundary again. I don't think it's a boundary. I think it's you just chasing people. Set boundaries that just gives you peace and earns you respect and is in line with your value and your goals and your career. Whatever that just makes you happy, I think is what you should actually set boundaries for. Okay, on this point, I would like to say thank you so much, Mary Ozoronye. Mary is the CEO of Royen Life Consult, a public speaker, an actress, health management consultant, a registered nurse. She's also a major personality, a radio OAP. So thank you very much, Ronye, for joining us on the program. And also thank you, Sarah Fumi Adebusuyi, who is an entrepreneur, a writer, a public speaker, and the founder of Limitless Army. Can we have both of them on the screen? Thank you very much. Can we have the both of them on the screen? Thank you very much. Please wave us bye.
Bye. Thank you for having us. Thank you for having me on your show, Rose Blossom. It's so nice to interact with you again.
Thank you. All right then. All right, since that is the wrap for us with our Zoom guest talking about assertiveness and talking about making sure you're setting your boundaries as a woman, we're going to quickly go for a break whereby we'll take our safety tips on home fire safety guide, just in case there's a fire near you. Or we don't even pray for fire, but it's just something that is part of what we just have to do to keep ourselves safe. So let's go see this guide on how you can keep your home safe during fire, before fire, or if you're around anything called fire. We'll be right back.
Home fire safety guide. We hope that a house fire won't ever happen to you, but it could. More than 27% of reported fires are in homes. Though the risk of a house fire depends on many factors, you can still learn a lot about the risks from general statistics. How to prevent house fires. Buy a fire extinguisher and learn how to use it. Teach children the basics of fire safety and how to prevent fires. Always keep matches, lighters, and other fire hazards out of the reach of children. Keep flammable items at least 3 feet away from anything hot. Only smoke outside. Always stay in the kitchen while cooking in case something catches fire. Remember to shut off your stove after cooking. Extinguish controlled fires completely. This includes fires in fireplaces and fire pits. Don't start a fire outdoor if you live in a dry climate. If you do, make sure to spray down the surrounding area in case of spark lands outside of your fire pit. Helpful fire safety products. Fire extinguishers. Store a fire extinguisher in your kitchen and each level of your home. Fire blanket. Use a fire retardant blanket to extinguish a small fire by smothering it before it has a chance to get any bigger. Smoke detectors. Install home fire sprinklers. Once activated, automatic home fire sprinklers can significantly reduce flames and heat, often long before the fire department can get to your home. Search for companies near you that can install sprinkler systems in your home. A fire escape ladder. If you live in a building with more than one level, fire escape ladders can help you quickly and safely escape out of a window. Read more or visit Galaxy Television website for more fire safety guide. Thank you.
Right, welcome back. Because it's Friday, I decided to give something a bit more of entertainment. It's not every time. Sometimes I could put the entertainment during the week, but just to make it a little bit different today and spice it up a little bit. So we'll be looking at our spotlight nuggets for today, and which was the Music Festival 2024 that happened recently. So let's go enjoy ourselves with some music and of course some fun at the beach. We'll be right back.
The Musical Plus Festival 2024 pulled out an all-stop for a music extravaganza at the Good Beach in Lagos. The event was a star-studded affair with celebrities from the music and entertainment industry making their way to the beach to witness the magic unfold. Ruga, a rising star in the Afrobeat scene, took to the center stage and mesmerized the audience with his electrifying performance. His infectious energy and powerful vocals had the crowd on their feet, cheering his name and singing along to every song.
Everybody say Ruga! Say Ruga! Say Ruga! Say Ruga! I said to get my eyes on you, especially if I can move. You when you run that thing, baby, let me take a look. Say, oh no, you want all the girls in the whole world. I know what I'm doing is so wrong, but please go back and focus. We don't be
Wanda Cole, a veteran in the industry, then took the audience on a nostalgic journey with his classic hit, proving why he's considered a legend in the music world. But it wasn't just the music that stole the show. The event also featured stunning cultural displays, vibrant dances, and a lineup of talented artists who brought their A-game to the stage. The atmosphere was electric, with crowd fully immersed in the music and entertainment on offer. Among the attendees was Lillian Bach, a beloved actress known for iconic roles in Nollywood. She couldn't hide her excitement as she soaked in the sight and sound of the concert, expressing her delight at how well everything was going according to plan. Bach also took a moment to share thoughts on the Nigerian music industry, praising the artists for their talent and creativity. She even revealed her favorite Nigerian artist, none other than the talented Kiss Daniel. The music concert at Good Beach was a night to remember, showcasing the best of Nigerian music and entertainment in a stunning beachfront setting. The event proved once again that Nigerian artists are making waves on the global stage, and the future of Afro music is brighter than ever.
Welcome back. It's Women's Corner. Yes, it's a wrap for today. I'll be seeing you on Monday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Of course, it's me, your host, Rose Blossom. And do not forget, while you're setting down boundaries, while you're being assertive of whatever you want to do, make sure it gives you peace and make sure they are very, very healthy. So keep setting the boundaries, women. It's all for you. Bye for now and have a beautiful, fabulous weekend.